Hey, this is the grinder, Mark Shaw, and you're listening to Wrestling with Entertainment.
We are wrestling with NXT Stand and Deliver preview, night 1 and 2. And once
That
again,
one.
how should we listen to NXT Stand and Deliver?
If you are smart, then you will listen to NXT Takeover Stand and Deliver on the remix with Scooter Dust and James J. and Kaliko on UMB Sports 2, Wednesday and Thursday. Night 1 is Stand, Night 2 is Deliver, and Night 3, I cry myself to sleep. No. But yes, listen to it. Remix UMB Sports 2 only on Mixler and maybe other places. Who knows?
Alright, let's get into it. The first match on night 1, Leon Ruff, Isaiah Swerve Scott, Bronson Reed, Cameron Grimes, Dexter Loomis, and LA Knight in a gauntlet match. Winner receives a North American title shot on night 2. Who wins, Scooter?
It's gotta be it's gotta be Loomis. You think it's gotta be Loomis with a heavy favoritism towards possibly making us think that LA Knight is going to, but I can't see anyone other than Loomis coming out of this.
Your assessment, Kaliko?
Um, yeah, Loomis seems like the logical choice. But isn't Austin Theory in the match too? Or am I
No.
missing something?
No.
Dang it. Because I thought they were going to go the Austin Theory route. So yeah, Loomis it is.
The dark horse is probably Cameron Grimes,
I was,
but I don't.
was
He's still
thinking
stuck
maybe
with the Undisputed Era thing.
maybe
He's
Bronson
working
Reed.
on.
I mean, they've kind of been playing,
Well, Reed and Knight have their own thing going.
True.
Grimes is still doing his new $1 million man gimmick.
And he's kind of messing with Roderick.
Yes, but they also competed. They went 1-on-1 on NXT this past week. So
Yeah, but I would see him like antagonizing that shit. He seems like that kind of guy.
No. No, it seems like Loomis is the logical choice, unless they want to wait for another takeover, but that really wouldn't make sense in my eyes. Alright, NXT Tag Team Championship match. MSK versus the Grizzled Young Veterans versus Legado del Fantasma.
Legado del Fantasma.
Legado. It is worth mentioning that Oni Lorcan and Danny Burch were the tag team champions but had to vacate due to injury. Scooter, who wins the match?
Hey, first I gotta say I really feel bad for Lorcan and Burke. They end up some relative form of success, and then something comes along and just screws them out of it again.
I think that's the story of their NXT run, isn't it?
I would say just about. I really do want to say MSK. But I'm gonna go with Legado del Fantasma.
Kaliko?
I have a theory. If Legado del Fantasma wins, Escobar is winning.
That's the same theory I was working on. Yep.
If they lose, Escobar is losing. So I think, because think about it, they went from like having like 18 stables to now only having 2. And both of them are the way. Well, three, because if you count Imperium. So Imperium, the Way, and Legado del Fantasma. So they have to be legit. If they're going to be legit, they would get the belts. Usually, a stable's legit when they hold all the gold. At some point.
I disagree with both of you guys. I think, MSK is obviously the logical choice. But Grizzled Young Veterans, I mean, they've been there for a hot minute at this point, and it seems like Phantasma were just thrown into this match because they needed somebody else. Um, and MSK, I mean, they won the Dusty Classic. It might be worth it for them to maybe hold it off and have them chase the belts for a little bit more. So, and I mean, they beat Grizzled Young Veterans in the finals, correct?
Yes.
Alright, I'm in. Grizzled Young Veterans win. Alright, NXT United Kingdom.
Not against that. I'm not against that. And I'm not against that logic. I can see. I'm not surprised if that would happen. Next match.
And the other thing about that is when it comes to Legado del Fantasma, you're either saying they either all win or they all win or none of them win. When you do realize that the LIJ factor comes into play, well, even if one wins, the other one is definitely losing. If you ever seen a New Japan show, so without doubt, Phantasma is going to lose that match, and uh, uh, Escobar could still win the ladder match. But moving on. NXT United Kingdom Championship match: Walter versus Tommaso Ciampa. I think this is going to be the show stealer. Scooter, who's going to win?
Yeah. I mean, considering that I think Walter has now, thanks to the pandemic, outlasted Pete Dunne.
Yes.
Yeah. Walter.
Kalika?
Walter, because I can't see Ciampa going internationally with that belt. So Walter.
Walter?
I mean, the only thing I can see is somehow if Ciampa pulls it off, is that he uses it as a springboard, saying he'll forfeit it if he gets a shot at the NXT Championship, but that ain't happening.
I mean, it's a possibility. And that brings us to our main event of night one, NXT Women's Championship match, Io Shirai versus Raquel Gonzalez.
There's also one more match.
Oh, where am I missing?
Pete Dunne and Kushida.
Oh, that's right. Who wins that match, Good?
I mean, they ruined Kushida to this point, so why stop now? Pete Dunne.
Kaliko?
That is a good point. But I feel like Kushida's been down and there's nowhere to go but up.
He hit rock bottom?
No, he'll go sideways.
Oh, he's going to go lateral? Bottom then lateral, but that's a toss-up. It's hard. Dunn's been rolling. You kind of got to go with Dunn. Yeah, Dunn. Not related to well done.
I have to go with Kushida. If he doesn't win this match, he's honestly he's well done. I mean, stick a fork in him.
Over, under Dunn.
Yep. And then the main event, Io Shirai, Raquel Gonzalez. Who wins? Scooter.
You know, I've actually never been more unsure of an Io Shirai title defense than I am with this one. But I'm gonna have faith, and I'm gonna say Io Shirai.
Kaliko?
It's a toss up. The factor to me is Dakota. So I'm thinking Dakota costs her the title and it causes them two to go at it. That's the only thing I could think of because they haven't gone back to them being pissed about losing the tag titles. So I feel like that's one part, and I think if she loses this is like the straw because of Dakota. That's the
Well,
straw that breaks the camel's back.
well, there might be another determining factor here, in that they might be using this for the NXT debut of Frankie Monet.
Who is that?
Taya.
Oh, Ty Valkyrie. Frankie Monet? Seriously? That's what they named her?
Yeah,
Yep.
the whole dog thing. That was on
Yeah.
this?
Oh my god, that was Ty Valkyrie's dog?
Yep.
Okay, well, I did not know that. I was just thinking, who is this dog? Kind of like the backyard pro thing. Um, so the only way I see Io actually winning this match is what Kaliko said. The Dakota Kai costing Raquel Gonzalez the match. That being said, I think that Raquel's gonna win, whether or not she's actually ready to hold that championship, which I don't think she really is. But
Great, we're gonna have Diesel all over again.
that's what I was thinking. I mean, they already named her Big Mommy Cool.
Oh God.
You didn't know that?
No, I didn't.
Yeah. So
That's so
That's
sexy.
a thing?
that is a thing, for real. So,
More like
Oh, God.
Big Mommy Frigid.
and I mean, the way that she ragdolled Io on Wednesday, I mean, she drew her through a freaking wall. I mean, how could they not go with her, even though they shouldn't go with her? Uh, so yeah, I'm pretty sure Raquel's gonna win this match. But that being said, Scooter, do you think Raquel's actually ready to hold a championship? You know, considering Io has been such a dominant force in the division.
No, and quite frankly, I'm not sure she's even ready to. I can't think of something that's simple to do.
Come up
Tire
with
shoes. That's it.
come right up with an analogy.
God, you, I could see, Raquel maybe winning it and somehow the decision getting reversed with a 5 count DQ, maybe.
I mean, it sounds kind of ridiculous, but I mean, I wouldn't put it past WWE to do something like that.
I mean, you have Tian Shan, the 1,000-year-old Dragon Empress.
That murdered people.
True, that murder people. But
is they're building. I'm not sure if they're building Xia Li or Tian Shen to be the next contender.
well, the problem with that is, yeah, it would have to be EO to win then, because the one thing with takeovers, there's never really like a doubt, right? Like I
That's
can't
true.
think of a takeover where there was like an up in the air decision. Like usually it's a known fact of it's a winner and a loser.
Decisive victories.
Yeah, it's very decisive. So I can't see them going the route of like if it was an NXT show, I could see it like they did with Cole and Balor, but yeah, takeovers is usually like it's set in stone.
Alright, that brings us to night 2. Cruiserweight Championship ladder match. Santos Escobar versus Jordan Devlin. Scooter, who wins the match?
I'm gonna say Escobar, mostly because of the fact that I think it's gonna be a night for Legado del Fantasma, and also, I mean, Devlin only having recently returned to American NXT TV. You know what? I don't think there's any logic in explaining it. So Escobar.
Kaliko?
Uh, I say Escobar because I think Devlin's going to be the next contender for the NXT UK title.
I think it makes sense that Escobar wins the match.
Because after Walter gets rid of him, there's really after Walter gets rid of Ciampa, not a really lot of contenders. And HBK is really high on him, so I would see him losing that to get a main title program in NXT UK.
Next match, Johnny Gargano versus whoever wins the gauntlet match. Which we kind of alluded to that it's going to be Dexter Loomis. So who wins, Scooter? Loomis or Gargano?
God, Johnny Takeover. I really want to say Loomis for having gone through the Eliminator, should that be the case. But I could easily see them putting Gargano over him regardless. So, just in the hopes that I'm wrong, I'm going to say Gargano.
Kaliko?
Y'all know how I am with Gargano. He is Mr. Takeover, baby. I think he'll win because Loomis it never was about the belt from how he's been doing it, right?
I
Like
mean, how do you know?
Yeah,
He doesn't say anything.
I mean, Loomis gives off a very almost Jake the Snake-esque vibe.
Yes.
In that he's honestly winning a title really wouldn't concern him. And that would actually be very fitting to the character.
so Johnny Takeover it is.
Well, whether or not it is actually Loomis, you know my stance on a Johnny Gargano takeover match. Always bet against Johnny.
What? He's been on a roll the last 3 or 4. What the hell are you talking about?
And Johnny is marching home again. Hurrah!
He's won 2, and it's the most he's won in 1 year.
But it's the NXT North American title. That boy rarely loses it when it's on the line. That going back to Ricochet at Takeover in Arizona.
And now it's the NXT Florida Championship.
Next match, Adam Cole versus Kyle O'Reilly, unsanctioned match.
Really? You want to talk about this before the NXT Women's Tag Titles?
Oh, I don't. Oh no. I don't have that in front of me, but yeah, Shotzi Blackheart versus Ember Moon defend the NXT Women's Championships against Candice LeRae and Indy Hartwell. Scooter, who wins?
Do the Mandalorian superfans win? Is this the way?
Oh.
Show me the way to go home. I'm tired and I want to go to bed. Nobody cares. Ember and Shotzi.
Kalika.
Yeah, it's got to be Ember and Shotzi because they just gave the belts and then they lost their first defense. I don't think they won a hot potato title. So Shotzi and Ember.
The women's tag team 24/7 titles.
The 24/7 11 366 title.
I-95.
I-95.
I personally would love to see a championship where the goal is to lose it, not to win it.
That's an interesting concept, and the reason would be you get a pay cut for holding that title.
You know what? Let's talk to Psycho Mike about it, and give the idea to Backyard Pro.
I mean, that could be the car that Geoff Hardy drives now. He's trying to get rid of it.
It don't matter. Hard place will win the belt.
All right, back on topic. Adam Cole, Kyle O'Reilly, unsanctioned match. Who wins, Scooter?
Oh boy. Oh man. I really want to say Kyle O'Reilly. I have a feeling HBK is going to get involved.
For who?
On behalf of Cole.
Interesting.
But you know what? I want it. I'm Kyle O'Reilly.
Kalika?
Tough one to call. I'm sitting here thinking. I'm like, the only factor that I put into play is where the fuck is Bobby Fish?
Injured.
And we know Roderick is like in no man's land, and I feel like they're gonna let him shine, but I feel like something's gonna happen to where Cole wins. Because it makes sense for Cole to win because it solidifies him as his own man.
Oh no.
What was you saying, Scooter?
Pat McAfee.
Ooh,
Oh shit.
that is a possibility.
McAfee and Cole align.
Oh, a line. Okay.
Yep.
Interesting. Possibly.
It could, but I feel like McAfee's more of a mouthpiece, and I feel like Cole don't need one.
That's a good point. Well, I think. Well, first and foremost, it feels like I've seen this match about 1 billion times everywhere
You have.
except
You
WWE.
have.
Yeah,
New Japan, ROH, all
yeah,
over.
it's been done before. Um, that being said, I don't think this is, that one-off match. I think that this is going to continue well into the next takeover.
I
Uh,
mean, it's unsanctioned, so
I mean, so
it,
so
it it's a hold. They signed a hold harmless agreement, so usually that is really the finale.
okay. Well, how did that work out for Moxley and Omega, or Shawn Michaels and Triple H?
They didn't have a hold harmless agreement.
Oh, and that's the deciding factor.
Yes, it means that regardless, WWE isn't responsible if they're injured. It's how Rollins faced Triple H at Mania 33,
Yeah.
and then they never fought again.
What about Gargano and Ciampa? Because they just basically met in a warehouse.
But they never had the hold harmless clauses.
Mm.
Honestly, I feel that means nothing. So I don't think this is the last match that they have against each other. That being said, Cole has to do something to antagonize Riley, so O'Reilly wins. Any last thoughts about this match before we move on to our main event?
I mean, maybe O'Reilly calls in his friends from O'Reilly's Automotive Parts. O'Reilly's Automotive Parts. No, nobody.
And that brings us to our last match. Finn Balor versus Karrion Kross NXT Championship match. Who wins, Scooter?
I feel they're gonna pick up where they left off, and I think Karrion Kross.
Kaliko?
Ooh, this is a toughie. Because Finn's been like fearless since he came back, right? He basically he brought stability to that belt, considering that Keith Lee got moved up, Karrion Kross got injured. So he's been the guy. It's tough to see where he would go if he loses.
So,
And
Balor?
and it's hard. This is a coin flip because Cross never lost it, but they rarely give people who lost it to injury the belt back, and that's my like. Because keep in mind,
I see what you
Champa
mean.
went for the belt, lost it to injury, came back, never got it. So that is what is geeking me, the history, right?
Yeah.
Like you've never seen no one in NXT get the belt, lose it due to injury, come back, and then get the title. So I'm gonna go Balor, just based on that precedent.
I didn't necessarily think about that until you literally just said it. Before you said that, I wanted to say, Cross for sure. I mean, it was essentially Finn Balor was the interim champion. But now that definitely brings up new things. Because if you think about it, where do both men go if they lose the match? I mean, Finn Balor is just Finn Balor, fighting him as a championship on its own. But
Uh,
Karrion kind of needs something to
y-
kind
you
of
also
legitimize himself.
you also have that tease of carrying Cross and Edge from when Edge was on NXT.
So you're saying he goes
So
straight?
if Cross loses, he goes to SmackDown.
Interesting. I feel like Karrion Cross wasn't there long enough to, do anything, even though he won the championship. If that makes sense.
Same with Keith Lee, though.
I mean, Keith Lee did a little bit more. I mean, he wrestled in a couple of NXT takeovers. He was North American and
But
NXT champion.
True, but when he got the belt, he didn't do. He lost it as soon as he defended it.
That's
uh,
true.
I mean, you really can't go by that. Technically, John Morrison should have been in NXT before returning. Then, Drew was in NXT before returning. To so that standard is really out the window.
All right. Well, gun to my head, I'm gonna go with Cross, and I think we'll conclude our coverage of NXT Stand and Deliver Night 1 and 2 for now.
Hey, folks, this is the Colossal Mike Law, and you are listening to Wrestling with Entertainment. Enjoy the show. Support these guys. We appreciate it very much. We'll see you at ringside.